Right, so here with the news that Benjamin Netanyahu has called the attacks in the chemical attacks in Syria terrible and despicable, and Putin, in response, has defended Syria and also called the accusations groundless concerning the alleged chemical weapons incident that took place earlier this week in Syria. So, this is very ironic of Netanyahu to criticize. Here's what he said on Tuesday. Alleged attack on Tuesday. There's no excuse whatsoever for the deliberate attacks on civilians and on children, especially with cruel and outlawed chemical weapons. Now, he has said this, and while it's obviously ironic for Netanyahu to complain about attacking civilians, attacking children, which the IDF, Israeli Defense Force, seems to carry out in Palestine, where it's fine to do that, but if Syria does it, although of course Israel have an ulterior motive here, and I don't think they actually care about civilians in Syria whatsoever. So Netanyahu and his cronies, and also this is also the wider issue around Syria, as why everyone is blaming the chemical attacks on Assad is because they want to get rid of Assad. Hence why Netanyahu here is calling the chemical attacks atrocious and all this. Even though they don't have the chemical weapons, and there was the Americans actually helped get rid of the chemical weapons, so the only ones that have the weapons are the rebels. The chemical weapons are the rebels, and the Syrian government doesn't have them, so how could they use them? And also, why would they use them? What do they gain from attacking their own people? Nothing. Whereas if the rebels do it and then just blame it on Assad, I mean, why would Assad do it and then have everyone else think that he's done it when there's nothing to really be gained from this? And I believe the area was Al Qaeda area. It was one of the rebel groups that was holding the area that the attacks took place. And good on old Pooty boy Vladimir Putin defending Syria, and basically coming clean and being like, well, you don't have any evidence that it was Assad or the Syrian government that did this. And the two murderous chemical weapons attacks on civilians in the Idlib region in Syria and on the local hospital were carried out by direct and prior order of the Syrian president, the Lieberman says. I say this with 100% certainty, Lieberman says. So, this is really Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman. Doesn't matter, he's lying. And of course Israel wants to get rid of Assad, as does America and Britain, which is regrettable because, although I'm glad Britain didn't vote to have troops on the ground, we're still involved in Syria, which I wish we weren't in any way. And if we were involved, I would want us to obviously be back in Russia and Assad. But yeah, so it's just complete rubbish, and they all blamed the chemical attack on Assad purely because they want to get rid of Assad. And tonight on Question Time, the woman, conservative, I forget her name, something like Fernanda. It was a strange name. Regardless of the point, one of the questions asked was basically, how do we stop the chemical attacks in Syria? And then she basically just said, if we had troops on the ground, blah 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 blah, and we need to get rid of Assad, and that's the whole idea they all want. Although they don't understand, if you get rid of Assad, you leave Syria for the rebels, which is exactly what happened in the Islamic extremists. While Assad will be secular and keep Syria a country which will clamp down on extremism and get rid of the terrorists, it will also be a secular country for all the various minorities in and religious minorities and ethnic minorities within Syria. The Christians, the Muslims, the Sunnis. I think the Shias. There are some other minority groups that I forget. Of course, you have this Syrian Christians as well. Assyrian Christians, the Assyrians, exactly. You have all sorts of other groups, and Assad is actually one of the minority group, from one of the minority groups as far as I'm concerned, religious groups. Still Muslim, but it's like a different kind. Alwites, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that was one of them. Alwites, which are also, they also have them in Lebanon as well, but there's more of them in Syria, but that's beside the point. And well, it's part of Shia, yeah, it's part of Shia Islam. So you have the Shias and you have the Sunnis. So that's why you need a government that'll allow all of these different groups to coexist peacefully and also keep out the rebels, which apparently the terrorists that the West obviously wants to run Syria rather than the actual government, who is the rightful ruler of Syria. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this, and I think it's very you don't expect anything good from Israel, but this certainly shows their cards, their hand, and the cards that they want to. Of course, we all knew they wanted rid of Assad's, but this certainly shows that they're all starting to step up on this course, and maybe they'll actually try and get rid of him. Or maybe this is all just talk, and they're all just gonna try and slyly get rid of him, as they've been doing for the past few years. But we will see. We will see.
إيه لك الله يسعد لي صباحي، الله يسعد لي صباحك يا بيت الكل يا سوريا، صباح الخير.
سمعت الشام